Okay, I don't know how well this is going to work. I've never done this before. I'm trying to hold still. It's just my cell phone camera. I don't have a tripod, and I have shaky hands. I have nerve damage. Anyway, trying to do a solo run through of soldiers in man-to-man combat in World War II. Away we go. To start this, set up the scenario already. This is the training scenario, so I'm not using any of the advanced rules. I don't have the squad records out. It's just, I use the information, the data off the counters, all the simple stuff. Okay, so the Americans won the advantage. Whoops, that was a 6, but that's, I can bump the dice. And so the Americans, starting turn 0 with the advantage, they will initiate. So I will start, I'm going to start with the American B. So I commit him and I plop him down on the 5 part. Everybody starts on the space off the left of the 5 track. This is my play aid. I made them up. It's just a little easier for me to use. It doesn't say start, but the real one says start where the other 5 counters are. So the Americans, they want to go first. And so they find there's Beck. So Beck, I've committed Beck. And Beck, if pop ahead because they are a disadvantaged player. So now the Americans say, no, 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 we want to go first. So we're going to go ahead. And because we're playing regular rules, the Americans would have currently, even though they're tied, the Americans have the advantage, so they win initiative and would get to go first. The German player considers this for a moment and says, you know, that's a little bit scary, but if I bid down to 3, there isn't a lot of time in this scenario, so we'll just have to hope that we can reaction fire and do some damage, because the Americans are going to go first. Being here, after winning the initiative, we roll the command check. We have the leader had an initiative of 5. He's in the 4 track, so we're on the 9 column. So we roll the dice and we get 11. And 11 or better on the 9 column. They are aggressive. And aggressive is good. It means they can, the Americans have the initiative for the turn. And because you can only activate each chit, command chit, once in a row, that makes any sense. I like to turn them upside down just to remind me that they went. So if the Americans win again, I can't, or in the next turn, Beck can't be, or Black rather, can't be activated again. So Black will activate. He's up here. And part of the reason I stacked the way I did, for those of you that haven't read the rules, is that stacks of 1 or 2 units are normal to be hit. If you stack 3 or 4 units in a hex, you become easier to hit. You're penalized for having that many guys in there. 5 guys in a hex. It's awesome for hand-to-hand combat. Not so good to be shot at by automatic weapons fire because it hits the whole hex and you can lose a lot of guys in a hurry. So, and also if you have multiple shooters at even aimed or quick fire, you can go through guys and chew guys up pretty simply. So I like to try to stick to 2 counters when I can. So we're going to declare this as an operational turn. Black can issue 3 orders. I have 2 guys. The command range, of course, is 2 hexes. It's always 2 hexes. It's not their command stat. That's how many orders they can issue. So he will issue 1 order to this stack, and 1 order to himself, and 1 order to the guy that he's stacked with, because he can only issue, if you can see this, he can only issue 3 orders. That's the number in parentheses. Stack orders, they're called groups in this game. The idea being that they all operate and activate and do stuff together, so you're not having to order each man individually. You can order the whole group. The downside is they all have to do the same thing. Well, they all want to do the same thing in this turn because there's just no reason not to. Because of the range, the mist conditions, the only one that can interfere with their movement is somebody that can see them, and that's going to be this guy within 10 hexes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he can't really get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, as long as you're moving down the edge of the map, but he can't. The wall is in the way. So they're going to be safe to do their operational move unless they hit the road. Once they hit the road, then they'll be in line of sight of this guy, and they can't go any further. The scrub, the woods, and this is, well, this isn't woods. Yeah, this is brush. Brush blocks line of sight. Again, the TEC, there's brush, blocks line of sight. So these guys can't see them. They don't know they're there, so these guys are unfettered in all their movement. So basically it's 1 AP per hex for movement. Brush is also 1 AP. Everything is pretty much 1 AP for movement, except for things like minefields, revealed minefields, and rubble, which we aren't worrying about. So part of the easy part of this game is that everything is 1 hex. It's just an average movement rate for the whole thing. So they can move 8 hexes. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're done. They came in here. They can't be seen through the brush again by these guys. They're still out of range and line of sight of that one guy because of the walls on that bridge. So they arrive there safe and sound. They're very happy about that. I could have done a group order for these guys. There isn't really a disadvantage to it. I'm just showing, I don't know what I was showing, because I was trying to show how people split up activations. So again, coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they had more. And I could put the leader a little more out of sight back here, because he'd still be in range of everybody, or back here, be out of range and out of line of sight of everybody. But sometimes it's fun to pop that leader. So it's worth the risk sometimes, as you know, to pop out into the brush and shoot a guy. So he'll be in the woods. He'll try to take advantage of that protection. So they're done. So that's their action phase. We did operational. They did, they're out of line of sight and everything. So we go on to, so then we go back to the track for the next initiative. The previously activated player that wants to, can choose to activate the next chit. I can't do black again. I would have to do the independent or the other American squad. In order to win the initiative, I have to at least get to 4. So I will try the other leader. What's his name? Adams? Ooh, that's dark. I don't have very good lighting in here. Sorry. Austin. That's right. This is Austin. This is the elite squad. So he'll come down here, try to take advantage of the initiative. So he's committed. I committed him. I moved him to at least the 4 track. Again, there's all kinds of craziness that you can play with the bidding thing. I could have left him in the 5 and let the Germans have a couple of, or have an activation and a chance to activate again. But we're going to try to drive that German B group down the track a little bit. The Americans have advantage. Germans do not. So Germans they really want to get something going on with these guys. As it is right now, they can't even see them, so there isn't any fire. There isn't any way to win this scenario with those guys. So they're going to drop down to 3. The Americans are going to push it because they like their situation. So they'll drop Austin down to 3. So now if Beck wants to do something, Beck has to absolutely drop down to 2. Beck's going to try to go for 2. The Americans say, you know, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So we'll let Beck activate. I'll flip back up, flip black down. So here we go. We are within 8. We are not within line of sight, but we are within 8 hexes, and but we are out of, it's within 8 and out of line of sight, or possible. So it'll be a regular activation. Nobody's wounded, so it's 5 AP. And I will demonstrate shooting, and that will be it for this quick little intro video of what's going on. So, again, we have, there he is. Oh man, that's terrible. I can't make that much better. Anyway, he is, or not 3, he's a 5 initiative, 3 commands, so he can issue 3 commands, a lot like black. His initiative is 5. It's a Beck initiative, so we're using him. So we will declare a tactical thing. We're doing it in the right order. We will roll the proper dice this time. Whoa! So his initiative of 5 plus command track of 2 is a 7, so he's on the 7 column. And of course, nobody can see that. It's an 8 on the 7 column. They are bold. The Germans are bold this turn. Bold is still pretty good. You can pretty much do anything that you need to do. So it's very easy. Anyway, away we go. They're going to try to move up and fire. And we are bold. We can't get into hand-to-hand combat. We can't even get into their hex. So Beck is going to issue his 3 orders, and it's a regular tactical turn. So away we go. Again, we'll issue an order to this group. It's, what is this, Gessel and Jekyll. Oh joy, I didn't look at the names before I set them up. 5 APs, 1 AP per hex. So of course 1, 2, and they would have 3 AP left. And it's 2 AP to fire. I'm trying to find the 3 in the die here. So I can go 1 more hex and shoot. As soon as they enter one of these hexes, they're going to wind up being in reaction range. The American player would have to make the interception check and shoot back, or shoot at the moving guys. It's low odds because of the way I've set this up. You take you pick a hex to reaction fire. You first designate all the hexes that are going to try to reaction fire, and then roll for them based on initiative, the highest initiative in the hex. This hex has the 5 with black, the assistant squad leader. This hex has 2 guys with a 2 initiative, so it's going to be really tough for them to reaction fire. I'm going to try to avoid, well, I'm just going to risk it. We're just going to risk it. It's always fun. So these guys will go here and see if they can't take care of the bar and the other guy. So the first 2, I'll try black and the guy with black. The first interception, oh, it's a 2, so black will get to fire and the other guy will not. So black will shoot. Black has his carbine. So the American carbine, you've seen the good old American carbine. The range is 2, if you recall, and they're firing at a guy in a brush, so that's -1. At a range of 2, it's normally a 4, but with the brush cover, that drops down to a 3. Firing with a 3 to hit. They roll a 3, that's an exact hit. Because we didn't roll a 1 to damage, or to hit rather, the defender chooses who takes the hit. So we roll for effect. Oh, I forgot to, well, anyway, it was aimed fire. Sorry about that, I missed a step. It was aimed fire. So damage, it's a 4, it was a hit. The 4 is just suppressed, so I just knocked down 1 guy. The defender chooses which guy gets suppressed because I didn't roll a 1. There, that's what I was trying to say. So suppress Kessel, and Gessel with his G43 will remain unsuppressed just because it was the German player choice. So then this hex reaction fired. Those guys are done shooting. This other, the first hex, the closer hex with the BAR, did not, they rolled a 3, I believe, for, I don't remember what they rolled, but anyway, they did not get reaction fire. They did not roll a 2 or less, therefore they are not reaction fired. So the suppressed guy, his activation is done for the turn, because for the impulse, because he was suppressed during activations. The other guy still has 2 actions left, 2 AP left, and so he will shoot with a G43. So it's a range of 2 for the carbine. It's -1 for the brush and -1 for the mist. So it's a 1 or 2 to hit. And they roll a 1, and so the black scores a hit, 1 hit on the defending Germans in reaction fire. So we've basically done shooting. So this hex has reaction fired. The other hex failed to reaction fire. There's one hit on this stack. Because I rolled a 1, the firing player, the reaction, in this case, reaction firing player, gets to choose the target. It doesn't matter, they're basically identical, but we will shoot the top guy with the G43, target the top guy with the G43. So going back to the carbine, we're going to roll on the damage table. We roll a 1 on the damage table, which is suppressed. So the soldier that was hit, the G43 soldier, is suppressed, rather, not incapacitated, suppressed. And so he just flips over. His turn is done. The other soldier still has the 2 AP remaining, and so he will shoot back with the Mauser. Look at the right table. There it is. The range, of course, is 1, so he starts with a 5. Oh, he is aimed firing because he's bold, so he can do that. So it starts at a 7 in a range of 1. That's the nice thing about close range. He will be -1 only for the building, so it's a 6 or less to hit. And he rolls a 9, and that's a miss, and that ends the German activate, or that group's activation. If we're trying to clear up, and in my idea, I'm just showing or demonstrating what goes right and wrong when you're trying to clear a building. I rushed up. In the basic game, there are no grenades, so you rush up, you did some shooting, and failed to really do any damage. He hit something, but he didn't do any damage. So I can rush up with one of the other guys, and again, we are bold, so we can't enter an enemy-occupied hex, but we can try to do a little more damage. So I'm going to rush up with Beck. Rush up, 1, 2. Only going 2 hexes this time because it's closer. These guys have already reaction fired, but the closer hex hasn't. Their initiative is 2, so it's a safe bet they will not reaction fire, and they roll a 5 and do not reaction fire again. So Beck will now spray them with his machine pistol, because automatic weapons are fun. So range of 1, he has a 6 to hit. It's misty, so it becomes a 5, and they're in a building, so it becomes a 4. Again, simple math. And he misses with the machine pistol because he missed with his first shot. He doesn't get a second shot. So for example, if he'd rolled that mystical 4, he could take a subsequent shot, rolling either 4 or less to hit. And so if he rolled a 4 or a 3, he could keep shooting, and you can wipe out an entire hex that way. And it's a lot of fun, but that didn't happen. He missed. He has 1 AP left. There isn't much he can do with 1 AP. If he's smart, he'll hop back out of sight because he's the leader. So his third order is going to Hecker. So Hecker goes, Hauser. Hauser hops up with his G43. And again, we try a reaction fire. Oh, we roll the American die this time. Oh, they failed on a 10, so they don't reaction fire. And so Hauser, range of 1 with a G43. It's a 5 to hit, becomes a 3 because of the mist in the building, and he rolled a 10, so he missed. So everybody missed, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4 to fire, so they have 1 AP left. He'll stay, well, he'll back up a hex. That's his final. Okay, that's it for shooting. I've seen the bidding track. It's a fun little game.